to Harlow because the only thing I knew about the Miss Foundation was free to be you and me. And I had 5 children under 6, and it helped. I actually got freer earlier. But at any rate, it is about media so much. I mean, these kids, what it reminded me is this act. You know, what I'm about to introduce is an amazing, amazing woman who is changing this country, and she is doing it through media. So this award obviously is made in my name, but it's very personal for me this year because Melissa Silverstein and I worked together for years side by side at the Miss Foundation for Women. And it was there that she strengthened my education in the power of film and documentary to make change, and Dr. Barrett's books, of course. 15 years ago, the night before the 2001 Glory Awards, we huddled before a screen, and Ann Delaney, stop the stuff, is Ann Delaney here? Is she? Yes, okay, thank you. We huddled in Ann Delaney's kitchen, watching the film in Ernest Brockovich. We were selecting a clip for the awards dinner. We had never before awarded a film, but Melissa suggested that it deserved notice. She was right. When the White House Project spun away from the foundation with a mission to get women like our grantees into political leadership, Melissa led the organization and continued her incredible and important work there, helping us to choose films and filmmakers to honor at White House Project events. These included great leaders in cinema like Jeff Skoll of Participant Productions and the unstoppable Sheila Nevins of HBO, who is single-handedly popularized documentaries. Thank God for documentaries. Melissa led us to Hollywood, where we met with industry leaders. I can't believe this. We encouraged them to make films with and about women. And eventually we turned the heat up so high that when Ann Sweeney decided to produce a television series about a woman president, commander-in-chief at ABC, the White House Project was her first call, alerting us that we had won the election. 7 years ago, Melissa joined Catherine Colbert, director of Barnard College's Athena Center for Leadership Studies, and created the Athena Film Festival. An amazing, stop and applause. This is the most amazing 4-day celebration of women in leadership. If you attended this year, which was the largest festival yet, you sat in classes with the top leaders in the industry and watched great films about women's lives, struggles, triumphs, including Suffragette, the long and bloody story of women in Great Britain as they fought for the right to vote, and Trap, a documentary about abortion clinics in the South. You must see this film.
Yes.
Melissa's blog and her appearances around the world have made her, this young woman, an international leader on the issue of women in film. And the initiative she started, Women in Hollywood, helped her create and now leads the conversation that has gone mainstream regarding inequality in Hollywood. She's young. Women in Hollywood educates advocates and agitates for greater gender diversity in Hollywood and the global film industry. And because she is independent, it is able to amplify women's voices. Last year, it made more than 1 million readers read about inequality. So from a modest but influential start in Ann Delaney's kitchen, nourished by supporters like Barbara Dogkin and sustained by her belief in popular culture as a way to make change, which is the legacy of our founding mothers in Ms. Our very own Melissa Silverstein has become an icon. Tomorrow, it's in the spirit of Take Our Daughters to Work. I couldn't be prouder of my spiritual daughter, Melissa, for her vision and creativity that has brought light to the power of film.
gonna go off book for, well, holy shit, wow. Sorry. Gloria gives me the power to do that. So, a couple of years ago, my then 4-year-old nephew took my hand and said to me, "Lissa, I want to show you something." So we proceeded up to his room and he introduced me to a group of his friends on his wall. There's a slide. There it is. Who just happened to be the cast of the original Star Wars. He knew all their names, their backstories, pretty much everything. He, of course, had no idea that I grew up with this movie. I was impressed, but the picture was disturbing. Here's the conversation. "Where are the girls?" He pointed to Princess Leia. "What is she wearing?" "A bathing suit." "Are any of the boys wearing bathing suits?" "No." And that was it. He looked at me and I dreamt about the wheels turning in his head, pondering the fact that the male characters were clothed and the female character was not. That was the moment when it all hit home for me. This is the power films have. Films are our cave drawings. They have lasting power. They will be here impacting people long after we have departed. Fast forward 40 years, and the good news is that the latest Star Wars movie told the story of Rey, a female protagonist, yet, even though she was the lead of the film, she was not included in the early action figures because there is a continued misperception, which that girl told us awesomely on that video, that girls don't want to buy these toys and that boys won't play with girl doll toys. There's what the action figures were at the beginning, all men. Hollywood is in a crisis. It has a big woman problem and, not surprisingly, a race problem too. The problem is so enormous that the EEOC has spent the last year interviewing people, myself included, on the road to hopefully intervening in this decades-long problem. The stats are brutal. In 2014, only 9% of the top 250 grossing films, 9%, were directed by women. Women wrote just 11%, and that was a good year. For the previous 10 years, the percentage of women directors was just 4%. 2 weeks ago, I got an email from Fox, one of the big studios, announcing its films through 2017. 21 films with directors attached. Not a single one with a female director. What that means to me, and why I am so passionate about changing this, is that we see most of the stories we see are from a white male perspective. And we all know that we do not live in a world that is all white and male. This is about trusting the female vision of the world. This is about giving girls the ability to dream as big as boys. And tonight is actually a dream for me. When I was on the staff of the Ms. Foundation, we joked last night like how I basically had every job at the Ms. Foundation in the 10 years I was there. We were all in awe of the women who were up here on the stage at the Gloria Awards. And here I am. I want to thank Gloria and Teresa and the board for honoring me. And Marie. I spent many years traveling across the country with you, watching you speak and inspiring people everywhere. I learned from you that the only thing that works is authenticity and passion, and I thank you for that. I also want to mention Kitty Colbert, who's not here because she is on sabbatical. She gave me the space to create the Athena Film Festival, which has become a destination. Is the person who gave me my first bit of money to work on these ideas. She's the first person I sent everything to for her honest advice. But this work would not have grown to the level of me standing here on this stage without the continued dedication and commitment of Barbara Dockett. believed in this work from day one. She is pushing me to take it to the next level, and this year, I am happy to say that is happening. We're launching a new website, hopefully in the next week, and the blog has a new home on Medium. I hope you all check it out there, blog.womeninhollywood.com, really easy. And we've launched Women in Hollywood Productions. And while it is dire that we change things in all positions behind the scenes, let's not forget on screen too. The Hollywood narrative is all about male action stars and male superheroes. As I said to Maureen Dowd when she was doing her research on her piece last year on sexism in Hollywood, men are superheroes, women are afterthoughts. How we got here, I don't know. Well, I do, but that's a longer story, and that's a book I hope to write. Recently, 18 superhero films were announced, and just 2 had female leads, including the long-awaited Wonder Woman, which we will finally get to see in 2017. And P.S., that's the only superhero movie with a female director. Women make up half the world, yet last year we were just 34% of the characters and 22% of the protagonists. The message we get is that we are not the heroes of the story, that we need to be saved, that we can't save. I believe things can change. If you've noticed over the last 2 years, people are talking about this issue in different ways, especially regarding equal pay. And you couldn't have missed this year's Oscars So White, which, by the way, was also Oscars So Male. I am hopeful that this overwhelming male narrative is on its way out. I believe the key to the future is the untapped and undervalued talent of women. Woo! It's up to us to be a part of the change. It's our responsibility. Going to the movies is like voting. You vote with your dollars. We must support women. We must see their movies. I will leave you with this story that makes me hopeful that the writer and actress Nia Vardalos shared on my podcast. Yes, I have one of those too. She had taken her daughter, Ilaria, to see the Box Troll movies. And 20 minutes in, Ilaria wanted to leave. Nia didn't understand. The manager asked them if there was a problem, and Ilaria explained that she left because there were not enough girls in the movie. They got their money back, and Ilaria spent it on something that made her much happier, candy. Little girls know there is a problem. We adults have to keep working to change it. It matters too much. Thank you.
Oh my God, yeah.